Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another review. This time we're looking at the Transformers Cybertron leader class Optimus Prime. In Japan he was called Galaxy Convoy. Optimus here turns into a red fire engine and it's a very iconic vehicle mode. So iconic that Prime here basically got a reimagining not very long ago. So he's very popular within the fandom. Anyway, Prime, red fire truck, massive beast of a thing. You've got a very iconic looking front of it there. It's very different to anything that Optimus has ever taken before or does take after. Brilliant blue translucent windows going on with brilliant orange lights there, silver grille. You can see his fists poking out the front there. So in terms of what becomes what, we might as well just cover that quickly. You can see the hands, you can see the head on there. You can make out what are the legs, so it doesn't hide its proportions particularly well, but I think that's part of this figure's ultimate charm. Fabulous red Autobot symbol on the side there and on the other side too. He rolls semi-decently. I don't think I've got him properly connected all throughout the middle there. You'll see in the reverse transformation later. I had a little bit of difficulty putting them together, but this is good as. I'm going to cover the cannons here in vehicle mode because it'll just be easier for me rather than trying to faff about with them in super mode. So Prime comes with two distinct different cannons here. The first one, this is where his primary cyber key gimmick is, at least in the show. Now, I don't have his actual cyber key, so I'm going to use the Jungle Planet key that is associated with my other Cybertron Optimus Prime, the little monkey one. You plug this in and give it a good old squeeze, and it should allow them to open up, and then there will be accompanying lights and sounds. But fortunately, like the Revenge of the Fallen Leader, the lights and sounds don't work on this one. That's a mercy. But yeah, that opens up and it becomes like a railgun sort of thing. This gun here is removable because it becomes his handheld blaster for robot mode, and it's just a very basic kind of thing. It did have a launchable missile, but once again, I don't have the accompanying armaments, but I apparently do for this cyber key gimmick. So you push in this key and it says, and there you go, they flip out to the side there and it looks like they shoot. So let's see. It looks like the missiles for the cannon there are actually compatible with the hand blaster, so let's just see. Oh, that's a good spring as well. Now, Optimus in Cybertron was something of a triple changer, a quad changer if you want to count his super mode in there as well. So he had this fire engine mode, but he also had a flying fire engine mode. It was a choice. So spread the wings out like this, and then rotate them like that. Fold the cannons out like that. Same thing on this side. Open her up. Rotate around, fold these in, knock your desk light off as you do it, and here you go. This is his flying fire engine mode. Actually, I think I'm meant to possibly rotate these round as well at this stage. Not entirely sure what you're meant to do with them. Yeah, this is absurdly big. It's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? It is absolutely balmy. I genuinely don't know with these cannons if they want to be up like that or not. I suppose it's personal preference. Let's get him transformed into robot mode so we don't have to take up much more space here. So I'm going to unclip these bits here, and then I'm going to give a really old tug. Trying not to break them as I do. Basically because we've got all of this plugged in via thick mushroom pegs into the top of this. So, oh, there we go. Let's just discard all of that, including the blaster. And we'll come back to it for super mode. And then we want to also be disconnecting these bits here. There we go. Once again, we will come back. Hey, this is the base vehicle mode, what we've got going on here. It's a bit ludicrous in itself. Doesn't look like anything from planet Earth. And yes, this is meant to be something from planet Earth. So, continuing the transformation. Let's take these bits here. And let's fold them up and to the back, separate the legs as you do, and just make sure that they are plugged in as best you can. fold down the legs and fold down the skirt. Basically, if you watched the Cybertron cartoon, then you knew how to transform this guy because of the glorified padding that were the transformation sequences. And they transformed in the show precisely as the toys do. So who needs instructions when you've got a kid's cartoon to watch? Make sure the toes are flat like that. Plonk him down. Now, I'll just address this. I don't have his matrix of leadership either. Pain. But fold that bit in, fold the window boobs in just like that, and then come to the side. We want to be taking the cap, hoisting it up a little bit, separating all of this, and then hinging his arms around now into the exposed ports. Tuck them in, rotate the forearms, spread the fingers. Then there is a lever on the back, which on mine gets a little bit stiff. I don't know why. But push his head up from behind. And there you go. Cybertron Optimus Prime, aka Galaxy Convoy, fully transformed into his base robot mode. And, you know, it's definitely a departure from Optimus Primes that we are used to, especially if we have a look at that noggin. He is taking very much after Optimus Primal with the exposed mouth, and specifically Primal, he had the exposed mouth in between two parts of the faceplate, as we can see there. You can also flip the faceplate into position, which you usually do for super mode, but just using a lever. Whoa. There's a lever on the back of his head here, just below the screw, which you pull down, and that lets his faceplate come right up and into a position. And I think that looks a lot better, honestly. It's this or nothing, basically. You can also see that I am missing one of his ear flaps here, which you would also bring out for super mode. So for the sake of his super mode later, I'm just going to be leaving him like that, unfortunately. But yeah, very unique design. He retains kind of like the G1 chest windows there, but he's got the front of the cab on his shoulders, which was the first for Optimus. And then you've got big, beefy, girthy forearms. You've got a skirt piece there, and then you've got the blue legs. So colour palette wise, there's nothing too different. Maybe just the blue forearms are slightly different for an Optimus. But yeah, just it's his profile is the thing. It's these shoulder pads in particular that make him stand out amongst the pantheon of Optimus Primes, the Covenant of Primes, if you will. And for that reason, it's very, very iconic. I also want to congratulate the figure on the fact that he has very little to no kibble. Nothing on his back whatsoever. The only main kibble is on the backs of his legs here, but then they will be addressed for his super mode. So yeah, he cleans up very, very nicely. I'm just going to demonstrate putting his blaster in his hand. There's a couple of pegs on the handle itself which go into circular ports within his palms. So you can just plug them in there. You can wrap his fingers around for extra stability. And there you go. That's him holding his gun. Yay! In terms of articulation then, Prime's head is on a swivel, so he can look round 360 degrees. His shoulders are capable also of rotating 360 degrees. He can move his arms out only about that far before these bits get in the way. He's got an elbow swivel of 360. He's got an over 90 degree bend at the elbow, pardon me. And fingers, his fingers can go in and out like that, and that's kind of it. At the waist, he doesn't have any rotation of any kind, but if you move the skirt flap out of the way, but he's got a very good forward kick. He's got a ludicrously impressive back kick. In terms of the spread, these side tyres can actually fold up and out of the way like that, meaning he's got a beautiful spread. Get them back down. That one is ridiculously tight. That scares me slightly. He's got rotation at the upper thigh. He's got a 90 degree bend at the knee, and then he's got a little bit of toe wiggle waggle for super mode purposes. So the overall articulation on this guy is actually really, really good. Very surprising for, what, a 2005 figure? Was that the year he came out, 2005? Something like that. but very good indeed. Now, just because of how big this guy's going to get in a short while, the only guy I'm going to be comparing him to is Megatron, so you can see how they stand together with Optimus in his base robot mode. Speaking of base robot mode, let's get him out of that and into super mode. So the only really things that we're going to do on the base robot are come to the legs, and we're just going to take the big old slippers and we're going to fold them up there, pushing his toes in and give him big old clown feet, basically. So let's do the same here. Plug them in, just makes him taller. So I'm going to split these bits away like this, and then I'm going to rotate that to the side there and rotate that round. Same thing on this one, rotate and flatten. And then we're going to come to the backs of the legs, and these are basically going to be stabilizers for him because he's going to get so back heavy he needs a little something extra. So with the cannons on the outside, it's just a matter of trying to remember which leg these goes on, and it wants to be this one on this, nice and secure, very solid mushroom tabs, and then this one on this one. Let's bring in this massive backpack. So I want these strap bits up like that because they're going to help guide us as to which way around this wants to be. Let's make things like this. Using these lower rails here, we're going to guide them onto his armpits. Actually, I'm going to bring the cannons out a little bit just so that we can do this without any hindrance. So we're going to guide these in like that. Make sure his chest boobs are closed like that. Going to bring the straps, we're going to fold them over his shoulders, and then we're going to plug in like that. We're going to bring the cannons back under there, reattach his little hand blaster upside down, that's the way it wants to be. And there we go, everyone, that is Cybertron Optimus Prime in his super mode. He's a beast of a thing. He's so big now, but he's not as big as the next fellow I'm going to be reviewing, trust me on that, and he's certainly actually not as tall as Super Optimus Prime from Transformers Armada. Not a lot has changed detail-wise. It just has the faceplate on now. This is when it's meant to be on, but you can see his wingspan now is bloody ginormous. He is so wide, and because of this, as I said during the transformation, he needs the stabilizers on the back of his legs, or else he will just topple over like nobody's business. But he is just visually so impressive. It's just crazy, really, how cool looking this guy is. And along with Cybertron, Megatron, this was the holy grail for me back in the day. I remember seeing this guy and seeing Megatron on the toy shelves at Toys R Us and being like, this is the best thing in the world, this is what I want. So now in super mode, Optimus is the same height as Megatron. He's even bigger if you count the tip top of his backpack there. But one last thing I just want to check out for myself, really, because I've never experimented doing this, is if you had Leo Breaker, then you could make Savage Claw mode. I want to just see if I can at least get Optimus into position for that. So for Savage Claw mode, there you go. That's kind of how you do it. His arm just does fit nicely through there. You can see the exposed ports. And yeah, that's if you want to make a really, really bad super mode combiner for this guy, because let's face it, Savage Claw mode doesn't look good in toy form at all. To transform Optimus back into vehicle mode, we are going to begin by removing the super mode backpack by lifting up these pieces here and just sliding all of this out of the way, and we are going to come back to that a little bit later. Then we're going to come to his legs and we are going to split these back pieces off. I'm going to put them to the side as well. Then we're going to take the big slippers here and we're just going to fold them flat, push the toes up like that so that they are still sticking out. Same thing on this side. Push that like that, and then we might as well connect the legs all together at this point. And then we can come to his skirt flap here, push his legs up like that. And then we're going to come to his head and we're just going to push that in. Notice how the slider goes down as well. And then we are going to come to the forearms. We're going to bend them so that they are that way round. Push them in like that. Make sure the fists are all closed up. I'm just seeing if the thumbs don't. Just like that. Make sure that's pushed down. And rotate all of this assembly to the back and push it in like that. And then same on this side. Going to just collapse it all like that. Basically making sure that's lined up on the side there. Push all of that together. And then come to the robot mode chest windows and just flare them out to the side like this. And that is the main cab actually all done. But we need to attend to the trailer next. So let's just scroll ourselves down, put him to the side and bring all of this lovely stuff right back in. We're getting the black straps on the inside of this basically. So I'm doing a full rotation with the wings, bringing the cannons and then the wing assembly in like that. And then we're just going to leave the cannons like that, put that to the side. With these bits here, we're going to rotate the guns, spin them round, rotate the guns, spin them round, and then these should connect together somehow. Connect them, I believe, like that. And then we want to be coming to the base robots. And yes, so the toes, you leave them up because they plug in through these gaps here. Good old push, and that gets them right into place. And then with these, the black slots here go into the mushroom tabs and there. And that's roughly it. Optimus Prime back into his vehicle mode. So there we go then, that's been our look at the Transformers Cybertron Leader Class Optimus Prime. I think along with the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class, this is one of the greatest Transformers ever made. Not because he's not giving me any irk during this review, but genuinely I think the, once again, the level of design and the level of engineering in this guy is yards above stuff that came before, and to an extent it's yards above stuff that has come later. There are some modern Transformers which are, let's be honest, crap in comparison to this guy from what, 2005? He's so big and he's so fun to play with. The flipping him between modes and the super mode also, it just makes him a lot of fun. He has so much play value in him. That's what a lot of modern Transformers don't have. They look good. They are kind of collectibles more than anything nowadays. So this guy comes from an age where it was safe to just pick up a toy and throw it about and play with it. This guy is sturdy, he looks beautiful, and he is just epic in every conceivable way. I have no problems whatsoever with recommending this guy to you. In fact, just like the Revenge of the Fallen one, I would say any collector should have this guy as part of their piece because he's worth it. He's absolutely worth it. He's one of the best figures from the line, if not the best figure from the line, and just one of the greatest Optimus Prime toys ever made. So thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this review. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.